Growing our economy. I think economic development is the number one issue, followed closely by improving our education system, which I think is very closely tied to economic development, because we're not going to have long-term success growing successful companies in our state and or attracting companies to Arizona if we have the perception that our students coming out of high school and colleges and universities can't perform at a level that helps to make those companies successful. But I think the number one is growing the economy. And if we can do that, if we can grow the economy, then the pie gets bigger, and we begin to be able to solve quite a few issues. Paying some of the debts off that have been incurred over the last 5 or 6 years. The state's carrying about $8 billion of debt. The constitutional limit is $350,000. Unfortunately, the writers of the Constitution in 1911 or 10, at that time, state governments borrowed money through general obligation bonds. They would issue bonds and then pledge the general revenues of the state to pay those bonds off. And so when they wrote the debt limit into the Constitution of $350,000, they wrote it as the maximum number of general obligation bonds that could be outstanding. Well, when they hit that limit decades ago, we've just borrowed money in different ways. But right now we're carrying about $8 billion of debt, 3.6 of which is associated with the general fund. The seventh largest item in the general fund budget is the debt service on that $3.6 billion, almost $400 million a year. So we've got to grow the economy so that the pie gets bigger, and then those extra pieces of the pie need to be used to fix our balance sheet and improve education. We need to grow jobs so that instead of 1 out of 5 Arizonans being on access, government-provided health care, that they're doing that out of their own pocketbook in conjunction maybe with an employer. So growing the economy, I think, is the number one issue.